Well, good morning. I'm Richard Bunch, and I'm the Senior Minister at Unity of Richmond, and I just personally want to welcome you to this service this morning. Our goal and our desire is that when this service is over, you will feel spiritually lifted up, that you will know that you are a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in the human condition. We believe in love, we believe in peace, and we believe in joy. And so thank you for being with us.
Good morning. Today's daily word is prosperity. I am prosperous as I enjoy my daily blessings. I am comfortable with the person I see in the mirror as I begin my day. I am filled with energy and enthusiasm for my work, my recreation, time with family or friends, or time for learning and reflection. My gratitude grows throughout the day as I take part in activities. I enjoy and spend time with people I care about. As I prepare for sleep, I am grateful for the blessing of a day well lived. More than money or possessions, prosperity is an awareness of well-being, my ability to enjoy simple blessings. I strengthen my prosperity consciousness as I bless and appreciate my home, my friends, family, and my work. I increase the flow of abundance by sharing my time, talents, and treasures in service to others. The scripture is Psalm 23:6. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. And the affirmation again is, I am prosperous as I enjoy my daily blessings. And I'd like you to repeat it with me twice. I am prosperous as I enjoy my daily blessings. I am prosperous as I enjoy my daily blessings.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision. Right here and now. Love is my decision. Up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me
I just invite us to take a deep breath in and just allow that love, that decision to just love as we do our opening prayer. Sweet Spirit, God, the source of all that is, we are so grateful for this moment, for this time, for this opportunity to be here as one mind, one body, and one spirit. And we know that each person here brings a gift and leaves it with us this morning. Each and every person participating in this service is leaving a gift in this service. And we know that we are so grateful for our guest speaker, Susan, and we just look forward to the message, and we allow ourselves to be open and receptive to all that is going on in this now moment, because it is divine, it is perfect, and it is so. And we allow the love that we are to exude from every part of our being, and know that we are one. We are one, and we are love. And so it is. Amen. And together, I'd like us to read the Metro Prayer. We pray for public, nonprofit, and religious social service work and ministries in metropolitan Richmond, for all in need of mental health services, all mental health workers, counselors, and treatment facilities. And I want to go over the opportunities we have available at Unity of Richmond. Okay, first we have Swaropa Yoga with Deborah Woodward. It's Wednesdays from 9:30 to 10:45 and 6:30 to 7:45. And you register by contacting Deborah at 804-338-1105. Next, we have meditation at live streams on Wednesday evenings at 6:30, and you can get on that on our Facebook page. Next. There will be a town hall meeting via Zoom next Sunday, October 18th at 12:15 following the 11 a.m. service. If you would like to attend, please send an email to register at unityofrichmond.org. Volunteer opportunity. Do you want to learn a new skill? Would you like an opportunity to show up at Unity in a new way? Our AV department is looking for new volunteers. No previous audio or visual work is needed. If you're interested, please contact the AV director, Natasha Fleet, and her number is 804-447-2350, and you can always call Kristen if you didn't get that. Next, vote early or in person at your local registrar's office. You can do that now until October 31st, Monday through Fridays. If you need transportation, please contact the church office at 278-6489. And visit our new website. Explore the new site. Check it out at unityrva.org. Okay. And I think that's all the announcements. Before we go over the Unity principle, I'd like to just talk a little bit about our guest speaker this morning. I want us to welcome Susan Green, who is going to be the guest speaker this morning. She worked for the state of Virginia for 42 years as a vocational rehabilitation counselor for people with disabilities, later managing and training rehab counselors. This is where she grew passionate about every person deserving to be treated equally and with respect. She and her husband, Howard, joined Unity of Bon Air in 2005 and have served in many roles over the years. Her favorite role is being a prayer chaplain for the past 15 years and the chaplain coordinator at Unity of Bon Air since 2006. That's one of my favorite things to do, too. Welcome, Susan, and thank you. All right, so I'm going to backtrack. And so the Unity principle that we're going to read this morning, and we're going to read it together. There is one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good. Amen. And our mission, we share the good news that God is unconditional love, expressing as the Christ consciousness in each person. Okay, let's say that together again, because I didn't realize we were supposed to do that together. So together, we share the good news that God is unconditional love, expressing as the Christ consciousness in each person. and our vision statement together, we are transform lives, transforming the world.
Good morning, everyone. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. I want to know you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. And I want to see you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. And I need to hear you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. Please let me feel you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. And I'll always praise you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. And I'll always love you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Hi. Good morning. That was amazing, Katrina. Thank you. I'm not sure I can talk. I'm just in awe right now. That was beautiful. I'm really, really happy to be here with all of you here in the sanctuary this morning, and all of you who are at home or in your car or wherever you happen to be right now, live streaming. This morning I'm here because I want to talk to you about the importance of asking good questions and how that can make our world a better place. I want to talk to you about how we can improve our relationships with each other and all those around us, and then by ripple effect, we can improve our world by asking good questions. I read a quote that goes, "Relationship is the fundamental building block of a transformed culture." That's pretty big, and I believe it's true, Because building relationships based on honesty, co-creativity, and trust can be challenging in a society that right now seems to be operating often along the lines of revenge, of snap judgments, of hierarchies, and self-interest. So effective relationships are critical. My husband, Howard, and I, as you heard mentioned, we both worked in the field of vocational rehabilitation for people with disabilities. And Howard was considered, and still is, an expert around business relationships and how to go about doing effective job placement with individuals who have disabilities. And he would train new rehab counselors, and if they would ask him, what is the one key to effective job placement, to get businesses to hire your clients, he would say, relationships, relationships, relationships. And the way he would go about that is to talk to a business person about their business need and listen carefully and follow through. And something I did frequently in my career in vocational rehab was train. I was a trainer, and I trained new rehab counselors and new managers. I used strategies from Stephen Covey's timeless 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I used that to teach, of course, planning and time management, but also to teach how to have and develop effective relationships with your clients, with their families, with your coworkers, with the business community. So habit number 4 is about mutual benefit. It's about win-win, not win-lose. And habit number 5 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. So it's about empathetic communication. And habit number 6 is creative cooperation. It's what happens that's more than the sum of 2 people when they get together and they cooperate creatively. And you can't establish any of these habits without effective listening, without asking questions. Questions are really important, and I have a little story to share with you that I think will bring that home. There was a father and his son, and they went out fishing one day. And after a little while, the son looked at his dad, and he said, "Dad, how does this boat float?" Dad thought for a minute, and he said, "I don't rightly know, son." A little while later, the boy's thinking some more, and he says, "Dad, how do fish breathe underwater?" "Oh, I don't rightly know, son." A little more time goes by, and the son says, "Dad, why is the sky blue?" "Don't rightly know, son." Now the little boy's wary that he's annoying his father, and he says, "Dad, do you mind if I'm asking you all these questions?" And Dad says, "Of course not, son. If you don't ask questions, you'll never learn anything." So, being willing to ask questions and then listen, you can actually learn a lot. It's very powerful. It is unitive. The following prayer I found by philosopher-theologian J. McDaniel expresses our desire to become deep listeners. In this century and in any century, our deepest hope, our most tender prayer is that we learn to listen. May we listen to one another in oneness and mercy. May we listen to plants and animals in wonder and respect. May we listen to ourselves with love and forgiveness. May we listen to God in quietness and awe. And in this listening, which is boundless in its beauty, may we find the wisdom to cooperate with a healing spirit, a divine spirit, who beckons us into peace and community and creativity. We do not ask for a perfect world. We ask for a better world. We ask for deep listening. To be part of a unitive conversation requires skill and will. It's your willingness to observe yourself and choose to act more from your heart than your ego. It's your will that is a conscious decision and a desire to move from the motives of your ego to valuing and recognizing the divine in each other person. It's to know there are illusions, but to stay focused on truth. It's the desire to understand another person so much you're willing to be vulnerable. It's being willing to not have to have the first or the last word. And if you're a Unity Truth student, and that's why you're here, I believe, and those of you who are live streaming, You believe in the principle of oneness. You believe in the power of giving and receiving. You believe it's not enough for us to know all this good stuff, but we have to go out and put it into action. You are motivated to connect with other people in a way that honors each other by deep listening. You have the will, and practice makes progress. The skill required is to ask those questions and then to listen. It's not always easy, but there is understanding and thereby healing to be gained. So I want to share with you today a personal story, at least a part of a journey that I went on, a small part of that. And if it raises anything in any of you that you want to talk with me about at another time, I'm happy to do that. But for this morning, I just want to share a part of that. In 1991, when I was a mere 36 years old, one day I suddenly had memories come back to me that had been repressed since I was from 5 to 8 years old. I had been abused, touched inappropriately by a man who had lived with us in our house for many years. I had only had little bits and pieces or flashes come to me over time that never made any sense until this day when they all came at once. You can imagine there were a few emotions. So I sought out a therapist and a support group with other survivors. The therapist I found and continue to meet with for over 5 years was absolutely amazing. And I give her a whole lot of credit for where I am right now. But I wasn't comfortable in the support group. I had a great deal of empathy and respect for the women who were there, what they had experienced, and the anger and the blame that they talked about. But I knew I needed something different. I was looking for something different. I wanted to understand why this man did what he did. I wanted to forgive him, and I didn't want to call myself a victim. Eventually, I conjured up the courage to talk with him 4 years later, in 1995. During that conversation, I asked him, "Have you ever been abused?" He told me that yes, he and his brother, who at the time lived in another country, had been both beaten up physically, and therefore I would say also emotionally, by their father and others with him. Asking this question and then listening without judgment was the most healing thing I could have ever done. Without condoning what he had done, I could understand how he could have done it. I could throw out then any ridiculous ideas that I had been carrying that I had somehow brought it on myself, deserved it in some way, or even worse, I had made it all up. I could not only survive, I could thrive. So raise your hand if you want to be in a relationship, a job, a church, a community, a world where there's insight instead of judgment, where there's synergy instead of confrontation, love instead of anger. And I'm telling you online, I hope you're raising your hands because they're raising them in here, where there's unity instead of separation. And because you've raised your hands, the next time you see a conflict, confrontation, or argument coming, try a question rather than a reaction. Try a unitive conversation. Webster's says that unitive means tending to produce union or capable of bringing together for a common purpose. So that common purpose can simply but powerfully be love, or that common purpose could be something that manifests in a big way, like Black Lives Matter, like anti-racism, like equal justice. So maybe there's a confrontation that's between you and a loved one, a child, a parent, a life partner, a coworker, a good friend. Maybe it's with someone who has very different political, religious, or other views than you do. Instead of moving quickly to stand your ground and defend your case, what might happen if instead you asked, "What would you like me to know about this?" And then you listened reflectively. Reflectively means, first of all, you're listening without preparing your argument. And it also means that you don't jump to your agenda the minute they're finished talking. Instead, you tell them what you think you heard them say, and then you ask another question. Is that what you wanted me to hear? Is there more? And you listen some more if that's what's needed. Some of you may have been to a training or a program with Sylvia Clute, who's president of the Alliance for Unitive Justice. And I've learned a lot more about unitive justice and unitive conversations from my friend Mare Taylor, who's here with us this morning. She's very passionate about unitive justice as a means of addressing and resolving conflicts. I've also learned a whole lot from the website for the Alliance for Unitive Justice. And there, the website provides details about what their values are, their mission, and it shares about the 14 arcs to unitive justice, which are a guide for how we can go from a punitive system to a unitive community. It's inspiring for me, and I think it would be for you too as truth students, because it's the way I think we want our world to be. I know it's the way we want our world to be. And I'm not a trainer on those, but I read all 14 carefully, and I find that several of them align so perfectly with our unity principles and practices that that's what I want to share with you. So arc number 5 says for a unitive world, we need to move from judgment to insight, because judgment leads to separation and therefore deterioration of our relationships. Insight, or mindful presence with another person, on the other hand, leads to understanding things or getting information that wasn't even accessible to you before because you didn't ask a question or maybe you didn't listen. Our first unity principle tells us there is only one power and one presence, and we're it. We're all it. It's our natural state. And the fifth unity principle, as you know, says it's not enough to know this, but we have to act in ways that express our divinity. Choosing to first understand another person before you want to be understood is an action. It's a powerful action that we can take. Arc number 7 says that for our community, the whole world, to be unitive requires that we have to get away from systems of hierarchy and superiority to a community where inclusion is the norm. It's just the way we roll. Unity teaches we are all one and we are all inherently good. We also intrinsically have powers of wisdom and understanding. So if we encounter a person who's acting or speaking in a way that seems to be something other than good, our wisdom takes us to have a unitive conversation with that person, to lead to understanding, like the conversation I had with an abuser. Arcs 13 and 14. Arc 13 says we have to take our actions and our reactions from being fear-based to being centered in love. Is that unity? And Arc 14 says let's go from thinking there's duality to unity, honoring our shared humanity. Some of you may have heard of James Twyman, sometimes called the Peace Troubadour. He said every problem in the universe begins with the idea of two. Duality is the illusion. Oneness and love is the truth. And when we operate from our truth, we show up ready to listen and understand. Now, in a unitive conversation, you do get your time to share how you feel. After you've listened deeply and you've asked, is that what you wanted me to hear, maybe a few times as you continue to listen? You have a chance to say, may I tell you what I'd like you to know about this? You having lovingly listened increases the chance they'll say yes. And so you listen, and you talk, and you share, and when you finish, ask them, what did you hear me say? And you listen. You may not end up agreeing with this other person, but you'll understand each other without assumptions, which is so important. You'll have the respect to agree to disagree. And most importantly, you'll be able to practice loving kindness with each other. Which brings me to arc number 1, which says that we need to restore individuals and relationships not by a system of proportional revenge, but through loving kindness. It's the golden rule to treat other people the way I'd like to be treated. It's not an eye for an eye philosophy. Loving kindness is indeed treating others the way I would like to be treated, but actually through deep listening, I can better understand how other people want me to treat them. I taught workshops on emotional intelligence for several years, and in addition to emotional self-awareness and emotional self-regulation, another key component to emotional intelligence is social awareness, specifically empathy. And then many years ago, I discovered a book titled The 21 Skills of Spiritual Intelligence. Now, I know it's right that I'm bringing this up with you today because I drafted this a month ago, but in the last week, I've heard two different people in presentations that Unity's done mention either the book or the author, Cindy Wigglesworth. Now, one of the skills described in this book is about treating others the way they want to be treated. The skill there is to have a deep awareness of the worldview of others and to know that it's not the same as yours. Worldview in general means the beliefs and the ideas through which we each interpret the world around us, and they have been shaped by the culture we each grew up in. As Don Miguel Ruiz put it in the Four Agreements, we have all been domesticated. We grew up reaping the benefits or the baggage, probably a bit of both, from the people in the world with us, our parents, our teachers, our siblings, our neighbors, and so on. In fact, I wonder sometime, thinking back, when was it the first time in my life that I had an original thought or opinion? So we acquire this worldview and we put it into a book of law, which then we use to judge ourselves and others. Having a high level of emotional and spiritual intelligence around others' worldview means that you have compassion for their hopes and fears, and you know that regardless of our various worldviews, we all have hopes and fears. And you're compassionate about that. It means that when you learn a better way of looking at things, that you are able and you do revise your worldview. You either toss out or at least edit your book of law. A unitive conversation, circle, or process facilitates our reaching this level of compassionate understanding. It's a process that brings people to the table to connect and understand and communicate and therefore find solutions. So it is restorative. It can be just two people having a conversation or a more formal unitive circle with a facilitator using a restorative circle process to bring understanding around the root of a conflict so that healing can begin. It could be a standard operating procedure in your workplace or in your church community. The questions used in a process may vary depending on what's being brought to the table, what's being addressed, but always the questions give a way to greater understanding through deep listening, respect of our common humanity, and a desire to experience our oneness and our love. I was listening to James Twyman speak recently. He was sharing about how he and a friend went to visit another friend in Paris who happened to be a French chef and who owned his own restaurant. And so they all had lunch together. And during lunch, James Twyman posed a question to his two friends. He said, if you could have anything at all to eat and you knew it would be your last meal, what would it be? Think about that for yourselves. If you could have anything you wanted, it would be your last meal, what would it be? Well, this French chef who knows a whole lot about food and has probably cooked and tasted some really good food in his lifetime said fried eggs. Why? Because when he was growing up, his mom made these amazing fried eggs. And he recalled fondly about the smells in the kitchen, about the family around the table, about the laughter, about the love. And so rather than some exquisite, rich French meal, he wanted his last meal to take him viscerally to a place of love again, to relationships, the fundamental building block of a transformed culture. Recently, Reverend Laura Bennett shared about a South African philosophy known as Ubuntu. And I wanted to know more about that, so I went searching and was blessed to come across a video with Nelson Mandela describing what that meant. He said Ubuntu is respect, sharing, caring. When practiced, you enable the community around you to improve. It means I am because we are. So be willing to ask questions and listen deeply for understanding. I don't know about you, but I want a nicer world, a world of loving kindness. And maybe any one of us can't change the whole world, but I hope you agree with me that there's power in positive ripple effects. But you know, we have to take our unity beliefs and put them into action. We wear the t-shirt that says, "Be the change," but in the middle of a misunderstanding with our life partner, we leave the room and give them the silent treatment. We love the prayer of St. Francis that says, "Where there is discord, let me sow harmony," but we react instantly and negatively to a coworker's thoughts or ideas. And every Sunday, we end up the service singing, "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me," but we get very worked up over politics. Wayne Dyer said, "Peace can become a lens through which you see the world. Be it, live it, radiate it out. Peace is an inside job." So now that I think about it, I think actually the skill to having unity conversations is the will. The inside job is that we have to start by being willing in our own minds. In Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." You know, another of our intrinsic powers is will. And it's not willfulness, stubbornly standing my ground no matter what. It's willingness. It's readiness with enthusiasm. So let's be enthusiastically willing to ask good questions, to listen deeply, to observe what's happening through us and choose loving kindness, because it will heal you and it will heal our world. And so now I want to invite you, as we move into a meditation, to become comfortable in your seats here, at home. We're going to move into a meditation for loving kindness. And in this meditation, we will accelerate our powers of will, faith, love, and imagination to heal ourselves and our world. So at your pace and your level of comfort, let's take a deep breath. And as you exhale, allow your entire body to feel more relaxed, to feel peaceful. And now picture yourself with your imagination in a place in nature that is peaceful for you and brings you joy. Picture it. You are seated in this place with all that is, and you are it with all of creation. Your heart beats gently in harmony with nature, and it brings a smile to your face. And now gently and to yourself, repeat these affirmations. I am happy. I am well. I am loving. I am peaceful. Fully embrace these affirmations of love and peace for yourself. And now picture in your mind a person who is especially important to you. Someone who has cared deeply for you and you for them. This could even be a pet. Seeing this special being in your mind's eye brings a smile to your face and your heart expands. Imagine the divine light in you flowing out and around this person. You know your divine light glows even more brightly when you share it. And in your mind, you look into your beloved's eyes and silently repeat these affirmations to them. You are happy. You are well. You are loving. You are peaceful. Deeply embrace these affirmations of love and peace for your loved one. And let's breathe in again. as we think of someone who is more of a challenge in our lives. Perhaps someone you know personally or only from a distance. Having loving kindness is not condoning any person's behavior. It is you wishing them well-being, and a weight is released from you. So look at this person in your mind's eye as you silently repeat these affirmations to him or her. You are happy. You are well. You are loving. You are peaceful. And finally, using our power of imagination, let's picture the entire planet Earth, perhaps as it would appear to us from space. Imagine the collective light of each person in this sanctuary and each person online from their home, expanding out, moving out, surrounding our planet and every sentient being and all of nature. And now aloud, together, let us repeat these affirmations to our world with absolute belief, faith, and conviction. All are happy together. All are happy. All is well. All is well. All are loving. All are loving. All is peaceful. All is peaceful. And now for a brief period of silence, I ask that you continue to see this planet, to focus our combined love light on this world, and continue to claim peace, harmony, and loving kindness in the silence. It is done. Gently open your eyes and wiggle your fingers and your toes as you bring your attention and your loving kindness back to this room or the room you are in at your home. Knowing that a mighty healing has taken place, we can affirm together, I am grateful. Together, I am grateful. And so it is. Namaste. Before I leave you, I want to share that there are several things coming up if you are interested in diving more deeply into unitive justice. And I will leave information here that can be shared. I didn't get it up for slides, but I'll leave it here with someone. First of all, visit the Alliance for Unitive Justice website. It's the letter A, the number 4, uj.org, or you can search Alliance for Unitive Justice and you'll find it. Sylvia Clute, the president, is convening a session called Introduction to Unitive Politics that's coming up actually in 2 Saturdays on the 24th that you may be interested in learning more about. It's online. And Mayor's wife, Reverend Valerie K. Gunch, is doing a class through the learning platform of the Unity Urban Ministerial School. And that will start November 4th through February 9th. You don't have to be a minister or a student to participate. It's called Unitive Dialogue for Peacemaking and Community Building in Ministry. And I think that it's going to be fabulous. I've seen a piece of what she's been doing. Also coming up, starting very soon, is a Unitive Justice Theory workshop. Any of these you can talk to Mayor about if you're here, and I will get the information to your church as well so that you can find that. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to have joined you. You are welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. That was wonderful. Very informative. Thank you so very much for coming this morning. And thank you. Oh, it's time to do thank yous. Okay, great. So want to thank our wonderful band for all that they do, for the music they bring to us each and every week. So phenomenal. And Ian, thank you so much for being the leader of all of that. You do a great, great job. Thank you, Katrina, for being here this morning. Your voice is touched the depths of my soul. It's amazing. And thank you to all of you who are out there listening online or watching online, doing your thing. We so appreciate you tuning in to our service because we couldn't do it without you. And most importantly, I want to thank all of you that are here this morning because you've been a contribution to the service and you're what makes Unity of Richmond great. And thank you so much. And now we'll do our prosperity blessing. Divine love expressing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. I am grateful.
You could be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You could be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you could start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way that words do when they settle neath your skin. Kept on the inside, no sunlight, sometimes the shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you say what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave with what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave. I want to see you. I just want to see you. Everybody's been there, everybody's been stared down by the enemy, fallen for the fear and done some disappearing, and bow down to the mighty. Don't run, stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out of the cage where you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in. Show me how big your brave is. Say what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave with what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see
Guys, that was awesome. Thank you. Text to give now available at 77977. Thank you. And we want to give thanks for the offerings that we receive, for all the gifts that we receive here at Unity of Richmond. So together we'll say, we give thanks for the gifts that will support our mission of creating a spiritually awakened world. Thank you. And together we will say the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.